teach them about secured cards, especially if your kid isn't going to go to college. Now, I'll tell you about that and why in a moment. They can officially get a card in their own name when they turn 18. So when they get that first job, and we already talked about saving money and start saving money, have them save for a secured card, specifically for a secured card. That's what you want to do. Now, why specifically? They'll get the lesson. They'll get the lesson of how lots of adults save. They're an adult, right? They're becoming an adult. We often have savings for different little things, right? You got your emergency fund, you got your vacation fund, you got your college fund, you got your shoe fund, you got your soup fund, whatever it is, we're saving in different little buckets, if you will, for different things. So this will teach them I'm saving for a secured card. Now, of course, you got to tell them what a secured card is. You got to teach them the lesson on that. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. So you can get a secured card that has a $200 limit. You can get a secured card with a $250 limit, $500. So it doesn't have to be a lot of money, but have them start saving for a secured card. So when they hit 18, at that time, you get, of course, like I said, you got to make sure you explain how it works. You're going to give them this $200. This is how much you have to spend on it. Don't go spending it all. And you have to pay it back on a monthly basis. So you spend $150. Do you pay $150 back the next month? No. The way it works is you're going to send whatever the minimum is at least, or maybe even a little bit more so you can pay it off sooner. So you've got to explain that to them, how it works, so they can have them a card that starts to establish credit for them, right? They get to start establishing credit right at 18 years old with the secure card, and it'll hopefully teach them some responsibility, knowing when their due dates are due, and then making that payment as well. And it's going to teach them how this whole interest thing works as well. You charged $150 and your minimum payment was, $20. You sent them $20, but you still owe them $140. You're like, how in the world does that happen? You're teaching them about interest and how that works. So now kids headed to college, and this is what I said I would explain a little bit later. Kids headed to college still get traditional credit card offers in the mail. So for whatever reason, even though they don't have a job, they don't have anything of that nature, people going to college still get traditional credit cards. No, not secured. It's unsecured. There's no collateral associated with it at all. They still get those offers in the mail. But if your kid's not going to college, a secure card may be the only way that they can go ahead and get established. And to have a secure card, you got to have a bank account. So hopefully you establish a bank account for them earlier on in life or prior to that as well. And while I'm here, if you establish a bank account in the month of October, the chances of getting approved and getting a secured card in the month of November are slim. They're slim. It needs to be established. It's like, you just can't, it's too new. That bank account is too new, and they may not approve you for a secured card. So beware of that as well. Now, I'm going to take a pause for the calls right quick, and I'm going to do a question of the day, and let me get these shout outs done too. Brad Townsend, my main man, Brad Townsend, he celebrates his birthday coming up this week. I gotta say happy birthday to you, B-Town. Dr. Sean Harper, yes, the famous Dr. Sean Harper, celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you, brother Sean Harper. Yes, he was on a Dr. Phil show not too long ago. So I'm telling you, famous people listening to the 800 Credit Score Man show. So happy birthday, Sean Harper. And then my main man, Larry Garrett. There is no one cooler than Larry Garrett, celebrating his birthday coming up this week as well on Wednesday. So happy birthday to you, Larry Garrett. All right, let me get to this question of the day for you guys. So the question of the day came from Benjamin. I did not ask Benjamin where he was from. So you know how I like to do. I like to make up something. So Benjamin from Florida. So what's up? So thank you very much for contacting me. He emailed me. So email me if you have questions. 800 at creditscoreman.com. Again, that's 800 at creditscoreman.com. Email me there, ask me your questions. You might end up on an 800 Credit Score Man show. So He asked several questions. I told him I might make a whole show around the questions that he asked, but here's one of them I want to share with you today. He said, I have cards that I currently have and use often. Can I call them and get my interest rate lowered, or do I have to close them and reapply? Great question, Benjamin. Great question. So here's what you do. All right. So yes, absolutely. You have open accounts with these people. Hopefully you're a great customer, so you're paying on time and all that stuff. You got a good credit score. Your credit score has improved significantly. You absolutely can give them a call. Look on the back of that card. Call that 800 or 888 number. Call them and tell them what you want. Say, hey, I want you to lower my interest rate. And I suggest you say it kind of like that. Don't give them a number or anything of that nature. You can say, hey, I've been a customer a long time, and my credit score has improved significantly. I'd like for you to lower my interest rate. Don't give them a number. Don't get them where you want to be. Just say that and let them do what they do. Now, they might be pulling a hard pull against you. They're looking at your credit, so you might be getting an inquiry on your credit report. It's probably going to be worth it. They're only going to deduct 2 to 10 points. It won't be 10 points, but that's where they usually fall. So you might get a little ding from that, but the lowering of the interest rate hopefully will save you money in the end. So it'll be well worth it. So I'm going to suggest that you do it and you call them and you say it just like that, because I made that mistake. I called one of my creditors and said, hey, I don't remember what it was. I got a 19.99. I need you to lower my interest rate because my credit score is good. So I want, a 14.99. Fortunately for me, they came back and was like, oh, yeah, your credit's good. You've been a customer a long time. And they gave me like a 4.99 or a 5.99. So I was selling myself short on that. So just give them a call and say, yep, I need you to take a look at it. No, from the second part of your question, you don't have to close it and you don't have to reapply. Do not close any of your credit cards. That length of history is helping you with your credit. So don't close any of your credit cards. Even if you were to call them and they are going to solicit you for another card, they might do that. They might say, hey, we got this other card here, and it has a lower interest rate anyway. If you apply for it, then you can have that better interest rate. And so if you want the card, knock yourself out, get a new card, but that's not why you called. And that doesn't do anything for the card that you currently have. And you want to make sure that they're not closing that current card just to give you a new card. That's not what you call for. Don't get talked into something else that you weren't trying to do. So yes, absolutely, call that 800 number on the back of that, and you can definitely get that done. And do not close, do not reapply, anything of that nature when you do so. So Benjamin, thank you so very much, sir. Thank you for contacting me. Again, you guys can contact me at 800 at creditscoreman.com. Benjamin, you are officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family. Thank you so very much. All right. So, we talked about all those other things already. So, start early with your kids. Let them know the difference between a debit card and a credit card. Incentivize them with the savings, all right? When you got those older kids, have them start saving for a secured card, right? We talked about all those things. Here's something that they also suggest you could do. You can co-sign. You can co-sign something for them. You can co-sign a car, whatever the loan is. Doesn't necessarily have to even be a car. You do personal loans and things of that nature. Co-sign a loan for them, or a lease for a vehicle, or even an apartment lease, things of that nature. We talked about that before as well. I didn't have to do those things with Kobe because I established credit for him prior to him actually needing it. Established credit for him in that regard, so I didn't have to do those things. This is something that you're going to have to think about on your own. So I don't typically recommend co-signing, but a long time ago on this show, I said, if Kobe came to me and he needed a co-signer, I would absolutely do it. He's a very, very responsible young man, and so I would do it. Everybody's not that necessarily that responsible, and everybody doesn't have good luck. Sometimes people run into stuff and they can't get things done. So your people, your kid. Everybody has the best of intentions intentions when you're, getting that loan, trying to get that new car or whatever it is. So you got to make up your own decision about co-signing. I'm not a big proponent of it at all, but like I said, I know myself. Know thyself, right? I know myself. I know I'd cave if Kobe came to me and he needed a co-signer, but to mitigate my risk in that and my credit and as well, I established credit for him beforehand, so I didn't have to do that. So there are much less riskier ways to help your kids out. So, but co-signing is one of them that they mentioned in this particular article. And yeah, I'll post the article as well on all of social media platforms. So follow me. If you don't follow me on any social media platforms, pick one. Just pick one. Facebook, I'm 800 Credit Score Man on Facebook. Same thing on Instagram. On Twitter, I am at Credit Score _Man on Twitter. That's Credit Score _Man on Twitter. So pick one of those platforms. Follow me there. It's going to be posted sometime after the show today. So, yeah. So, absolutely. You can do the co-signer thing if you want to, if you're comfortable with doing that. Again, for the older kids, have them report other forms of credit. You know what I'm talking about when I say that? Other forms of credit. You can use Experian Boost, right? We talked about it before. www.experian.com/boost. It's not just for the kids. This is not something that's just for them. You can do the same as well. If you're sitting at a credit score and it starts with a 4, a 5, or a 6, and hell, even a 7, and you're barely in the 7, you can use Experian Boost as well to help boost your credit. So Experian Boost is one of the places where you can go. Actually, that's the main place you can go. And so when they talk about other forms of credit, your cable bill, your utility bills, your cell phone bill. So the kid we just talked about before about co-signing a lease form for an apartment or something of that nature, then now they got a cable bill in their name. They got a utility bill in their name. Maybe they have a cell phone bill in their name, or maybe they're still on your plan. But if they have those options, then sign up for Experian Boost. You sign up for Experian Boost for these kids, and it's going to boost their credit score some. So, but you're going to get those non-traditional accounts placed on your credit report. Oftentimes, especially as a young person, you don't have a lot of things on your credit report. You have a thin credit file, which means you're going to have a lower credit score as well. But if you add these things, and typically the only way that they would get on your credit report, a cell phone bill, a utility bill, a cable bill, is when you messed up and they sent you to collections. But now you can use that as a benefit for you. Now, this wasn't in the article, but I'm going to add rent to this as well. So you can also add rent to your credit report. And so, like I said in the beginning of the show, just because you don't have a kid or whatever, don't mean don't listen. You can add rent. It's a lot of people out there that rent. Everybody doesn't own a home, right? So you can rent. You can add that to your credit report. I don't care if you're 18 or if you're 80. You can add rent to your credit report and have it reported. The best places report to all 3. A lot of places out there only report to 2. But the best places that to add your rent, you can do that as well. And you can go ahead and get that on your credit report. You're making that rental payment anyway. You're probably never late or hardly ever late, right? Definitely not going to be 30 days late because they're going to put you out. You can add that to your credit report. It's a good account. It's going to help you with your credit score. So, yep, I'm going to add that to it as well. So, if you're a younger person and you want to do that, Experian Boost. It's Experian.com/boost. Or you can even go add your rent to it as well. Now, the last thing that they talked about, authorized users. Of course, authorized user. We've been talking about authorized users so much lately. I'm actually tired of talking about authorized users. So everybody should know. If you don't know, go back and listen to a show. It's probably mentioned because we've been talking about it so much. But yes, of course. And this is what I did for Kobe. This is what I plan to do for Cameron and Carter. Make them authorized users on an account. They'll probably be on the same one that Kobe is on. Make them an authorized user as well. And that's going to help them with their credit. Now, this is something else that came up in the discussion as well. And I hadn't actually planned on talking about this, but this came up in a discussion in that group we were talking about. People were asking like basically when should you do it? When the kid's 15,